Looking at the shepherds.
Some carols are special to me because the lyrics create mental images.
Christmas means joy, celebration, get-togethers.
I did think of something I was going to say a few days ago, and I've forgotten what it was.
The one I'm going to talk about is gold.
Houses, preparing exciting food to share with our families. Across the desert, in search of a newborn king.
There's one you made earlier.
But the true meaning of Christmas can so easily be lost in all the busyness.
Pinning down exactly what they are is much more tricky.
This horseshoe necklace. Katie bought it for me when I was doing my GCSEs.
Frankincense. What on earth is that?
High quality incense.
Penelope, Teddy and Lola.
His law is love and his gospel is peace.
And then you just poke the candle through.
Joseph and Simon.
It's a time to get together with friends and family.
And it was just a marvellous, marvellous joy to sing.
Today we're looking at myrrh.
Balthazar really knew what he was doing when he chose myrrh to give to Christ as the first Christmas present.
Raisa and Ben.
So, one little Christmas tree napkin.
With best wishes for Christmas.
I found this really helpful in stopping me being too grumpy.
But Mary didn't just see Jesus as her special child.
So, 24 days of waiting, and now you're here, ready and armed with your Christmas cheer. A December full of planning, and now we can't bubble. It's not fair, we stayed in. It's their fault, but it's all our trouble. Christmas is cancelled, I hear them all type. The grottos and the parties, all the Christmas hype. Christmas is cancelled, I hear them all say. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. You misunderstand Christmas Day. Christmas, a baby born in a shed. 2,000 years later, we still break his bread. He grew up in our world, he lived as we do, raised to be the Saviour, our wonderful Jew. Jesus Christ, born to show us new life. All we did as humans was to show him a knife. He came so we could live, so he could die. Christmas was created with this amazing guy. Please don't forget, as you have a smaller turkey, a quieter day, a call on Zoom, that Jesus' birth wasn't an amazing story, it was the start of one. Make 2021 the year you understand or revel in the reason that he came in the first place. Have an amazing Christmas, and I'll see you next week.
Happy Christmas. I hope that wherever you are and whenever you're watching this, you've found some reason to celebrate. It's been a very hard year. For those of us now in Tier 4, it's become a whole lot worse, and the bad times aren't over yet. So there's a lot of fear, frustration, anger, and exhaustion around. I'd like to read you a short extract from a book called The Long Winter by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Laura and her family were living in a little town far out on the prairies of North Dakota when a winter of continual blizzards struck, lasting for 7 long months. The town was completely cut off from the outside world. Food ran short. You couldn't leave the house for more than an hour or so for fear of another blizzard striking. The family were cold, living in more or less perpetual darkness, existing on starvation rations, and still the blizzard did not let up. "It can't beat us," said Pa. "Can't it?" said Laura. "No," said Pa. "It's got to quit sometime, and we don't." It can't lick us. We won't give up. Then Laura felt a warmth inside her. It was very small, but it was strong. It was steady, like a tiny light in the dark, and it burned very low, but no winds could make it flicker, because it would not give up. Long before the Christian faith ever celebrated Christmas, human beings celebrated a festival of light in the very darkest days of winter. They celebrated as a sign that they would not give up. One day, they trusted, the dark and the cold would go and they would still be there. And this festival helped to give them that little light of hope, which would keep burning inside them until the springtime finally came. St. John then wrote of Jesus as the light which comes into the world. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Jesus then confirmed that hope in human hearts, that light would come again after darkness. But there was a lot more to it than that. Human beings are by nature strong, resilient and optimistic, but we're not always quite strong, optimistic and resilient enough, are we? And at this particular point in time, most of us are finding it very hard to remain upbeat. We've had enough of COVID and lockdown and loneliness and uncertainty and fear for our lives and those of our loved ones. Mental illness and despair are rising just as fast as the number of COVID cases. But Jesus, said St. John, was God. He was the source of all life, and that life is the light in human hearts. The hope which burns steadily and refuses to be extinguished in us comes from Jesus Christ. So it doesn't depend on us, on how strong we're feeling. It depends on him. So when Christmas took over from the winter solstice festival, it brought with it a reason to hope that was no longer dependent purely on ourselves or even on nature. Let's face it, we're not very good friends with nature right now, are we? Christmas is about the hope which comes into our hearts with Jesus Christ, who is the source of life itself, life which can never be destroyed. I'm not telling you to get up and skip for joy, although you can if you like. I'm not telling you to be merry if you're feeling scared and lonely and tired. I'm just inviting you to trust that little light of hope burning inside you against the darkness. For one day the bad things will quit, and we will not, because our lives belong to Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ is the light shining in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome.